What is up, everybody? Today, we are diving into the absolute craziest, most insane challenges we've ever attempted on this channel. I'm talking about moments that pushed us, our friends, and even random subscribers to their absolute limits. You think you've seen it all? Think again. These are the 10 craziest MrBeast challenges that pushed the limits of money, fear, and even survival. We're going to look back at stunts that cost millions, challenges that were physically brutal, and some that were just straight up terrifying. We've given away islands, buried people alive, safely of course, and made people endure things you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, all for your entertainment and, of course, for some massive cash prizes. This isn't just a highlight reel. This is a deep dive into the challenges that genuinely made us question if we'd gone too far. From freezing temperatures to complete isolation, we're counting down the top 10 moments that had everyone, including myself, on the edge of their seats, wondering if we could actually pull it off. So buckle up, smash that like button if you're ready, because this is going to be an absolutely wild ride. We're talking fire, slime, dirt, and so much cash flying around. We're going to relive the stress, the triumphs, and the sheer madness of it all. Trust me, you do not want to miss a single second of this. Let's get into it. All right, kicking off our list at number 10, but honestly, this could be number 1 for sheer mental fortitude, is the 100 days in a box challenge. Can you even imagine? 100 days trapped in a box. We found a willing participant, a true legend, who agreed to be confined to this tiny space for over 3 months. The prize? A cool $500,000. But let me tell you, that money was earned, every single cent of it, through pure, unadulterated willpower and endurance. This wasn't just about being bored. This was a psychological experiment on a massive scale. We kitted out the box with the bare essentials, a bed, a toilet, some basic entertainment. But nothing can truly prepare you for that level of isolation. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. We had cameras on him 24/7, watching him go through every emotion imaginable: hope, despair, determination, frustration. The outside world continued, seasons changed, and he was still in that box, fighting his own mind. Stepping out of that box back into the real world with $500,000 in hand, it was a life-changing moment. Coming in at number 9, we have a challenge that tested the absolute limits of physical endurance, going with no food for 7 entire days. 7 days. I even did this one myself alongside a couple of the guys. And let me tell you, it was one of the hardest things I've ever voluntarily put my body through. You don't realize how much your day revolves around food, how much energy it gives you, until it's completely gone. The hunger pangs were just the beginning of the struggle. Day 1 and 2, you're kind of running on fumes, maybe a bit of adrenaline from the challenge itself. But by day 3, oh man, the headaches kick in, the brain fog is real, and your energy levels absolutely plummet. We were just drinking water, trying to stay hydrated, but every commercial for food, every smell from a nearby restaurant, it was actual torture. We had to keep ourselves busy, but even simple tasks felt monumental. We documented the whole thing, the weigh-ins showing the pounds dropping off, the increasingly tired looks on our faces. You could literally see the life draining out of us. When we finally broke the fast after 7 long days, that first bite of food was euphoric, but the journey to get there was brutal. It makes you appreciate the simple act of eating so much more, but I wouldn't recommend trying this one at home, seriously. Number 8 on our list of challenges that went too far is the infamous Last to Leave Slime Pit Challenge. Imagine a giant pool, not filled with refreshing water, oh no, but with thousands of gallons of thick, cold, gooey, bright green slime. And the goal? Simple. Be the last person to endure the disgustingness and stay submerged in it. The prize? A cool $10,000. But trust me, that money felt like $1 million by the end. We had a bunch of contestants, all geared up, or rather minimally geared, ready to to dive into this pit of horrors. The initial plunge was met with screams and shivers as the cold slime enveloped them. It gets everywhere, in your hair, your ears, up your nose, and the smell. Let's just say it wasn't exactly aromatherapy. As the hours ticked by, the discomfort grew exponentially. The slime started to dry in some places, getting crusty and even more uncomfortable. People were trying all sorts of strategies to stay in. The winner, caked in layers of dried slime, looked like a swamp monster, but a very happy $10,000 richer swamp monster. All right, at number 7, we've got a challenge that sounds deceptively simple, but was an absolute psychological marathon, the $1,000 circle challenge. We drew a massive circle on the ground, and the rules were straightforward. The last person to step outside the circle wins $1 million. Contestants could bring whatever they could carry, set up tents, and basically live inside this painted line for as long as it took. Easy, right? Wrong. This challenge wasn't about physical pain, not directly anyway. It was about the slow creeping onset of cabin fever, boredom, and the immense mental pressure of knowing that one wrong step, one moment of weakness, could cost you a life-changing sum of money. Days turned into weeks. The initial excitement and camaraderie among contestants slowly started to fray as the reality of their confinement set in. They could see the outside world, just beyond the line, a constant temptation. Imagine being stuck in the same small area, with the same people, day in and day out. The monotony is a killer. We saw alliances form and break, people trying to psych each other out, and moments of genuine despair. The prize was so huge, it made every decision, every interaction, incredibly high stakes. The eventual winner was a testament to incredible patience and mental strength, but everyone who participated went through an absolute ordeal. It's a brutal trade-off. Cracking the top 5 at number 5 is one of our biggest and most viral productions ever, the real-life Squid Game recreation. We spent millions of dollars meticulously recreating every single game from the hit Netflix show, from red light, green light, with the terrifying doll, to the Dalgona candy challenge, tug of war, marbles, the glass bridge, and finally Squid Game itself. We had 456 real players, all competing for a massive $456,000 prize. $1,000 for every player eliminated. The scale of this was unprecedented. The sets were identical, the costumes were spot on, and the tension was absolutely through the roof. Of course, nobody was actually harmed. Eliminations meant a small device on their chest would pop with a harmless burst, and they were out of the game. But the psychological pressure was immense. Contestants knew the games, they knew the stakes, and they were desperate to win that life-changing money. Every game was a spectacle. Red light, green light saw hundreds eliminated in minutes. The Dalgona challenge had people sweating and shaking, trying to carve out those delicate shapes. Tug of war was a brutal display of strength and strategy. The winner truly earned every single dollar of that $456,000. At number 6, we have a battle of generations that was pure, unadulterated chaos. 100 kids versus 100 adults. We set up a series of challenges designed to test strength, intelligence, teamwork, and sometimes just sheer luck. The premise was simple. Which group would come out on top? But the execution was anything but simple. It was an explosion of energy, noise, and surprisingly strategic gameplay, especially from the kids. Imagine trying to organize 100 kids for anything, let alone a series of competitive events against 100 adults who were equally determined to win. There were obstacle courses, giant puzzles, tug of war, which was surprisingly epic, and even building challenges. The adults had the advantage in strength and experience, but the kids had boundless energy, surprising ingenuity, and a complete lack of fear. They were like a tiny, adorable, and slightly terrifying army. The dynamic was fascinating. We saw kids outsmarting adults, adults underestimating the kids, and moments of incredible teamwork on both sides. There were betrayals, hilarious fails, and moments of genuine brilliance. The sheer volume of people involved made it one of our most logistically complex shoots ever. Just keeping track of everyone was a challenge in itself. It was incredibly entertaining to watch, but behind the scenes, it was a monumental effort to ensure everyone was safe, and the games ran smoothly. Chapter 7 brings us to one of the most terrifying and claustrophobic challenges I've ever personally undertaken: being buried alive for 50 hours. Yes, you heard that right. We custom-built a transparent coffin, equipped it with cameras, basic supplies, and a communication system, and then literally buried me underground. The goal was to last 50 hours in that tiny, confined space, 6 feet under. Just saying it gives me chills all over again. The moment the first shovel of dirt hit the top of the coffin, the reality of the situation crashed down. It's dark, it's cramped, and you are utterly alone with your thoughts. Every sound from above is amplified, every rustle, every footstep. The psychological pressure is immense. You can't stand up, you can barely stretch, and the knowledge that tons of earth are pressing down all around you is a constant, unnerving presence. It's a primal fear. I had a walkie-talkie to communicate with Chris and the team, who were monitoring me constantly. We had safety protocols in place, of course, but that doesn't make the experience any less harrowing. Getting out of that coffin after 50 hours, breathing fresh air, seeing the sky, it was an incredible relief. At number 8, we have a challenge that delved into the depths of psychological endurance: the solitary confinement challenge. We put a contestant, and later myself, in a separate video, into a specially designed room, completely isolated from the outside world for 50 hours. No phone, no internet, no books, no human contact. Just 4 blank walls, a bed, a toilet, and your own thoughts for company. It sounds simple, but it's a recipe for mental unraveling. The first few hours might seem manageable, maybe even a bit peaceful for some. But as time stretches on, the lack of stimulation becomes deafening. The silence is overwhelming. Your mind starts to race, or worse, it goes completely blank. We monitored the contestants via camera, watching them try to cope. Some paced endlessly, some talked to themselves, some tried to sleep the hours away. But sleep is often elusive in such an unnatural environment. It's a stark reminder of how much we need connection and how quickly our minds can turn against us when left completely alone. Number 9 brings us a challenge that was less about physical endurance and more about a stark, almost cruel, social experiment: the $1 versus $1,000 hotel room challenge. We took 2 contestants and gave them wildly different experiences. One got to live in the absolute pinnacle of luxury, a multi-million-dollar hotel suite with private chefs, butlers, insane views, and every amenity imaginable. The other, they got a $1 room, which was essentially a dilapidated shack with barely a roof. The contrast was absolutely jarring. While one contestant was sipping champagne in a jacuzzi overlooking the city, the other was trying to figure out how to stay warm in a room with holes in the walls and questionable plumbing. We filmed their experiences side by side, highlighting the insane disparity. It wasn't just about comfort, it was about dignity, about how differently people are treated based on perceived wealth. The psychological impact on both was fascinating to watch. For the contestant in the luxury suite, it was a taste of a dream life, almost overwhelming in its opulence. For the contestant in the $1 room, it was a struggle for basic survival and comfort. We made sure they were safe, of course, but the conditions in the cheap room were genuinely grim. It definitely sparked a lot of conversation about wealth and privilege and the sheer unfairness that can exist in the world. And finally, at number 10, a challenge that pushed the human body to its absolute freezing point: the Ice Chamber Challenge. For this insane stunt, we had a contestant, and later myself, agree to spend 24 agonizing hours inside a chamber made entirely of ice. We're talking ice walls, an ice bed, ice furniture. Everything was frozen solid. The temperature inside was kept just above freezing, but trust me, it felt way, way colder. The goal was simple: survive 24 hours in this Arctic nightmare. We provided thermal gear, of course, but there's only so much that can protect you from pervasive, bone-chilling cold for that long. The first few hours are a battle against shivering. Then the numbness starts to set in. Your fingers and toes lose feeling, your movements become sluggish, and your brain struggles to think clearly. It's a constant, relentless assault on your body. We had medical professionals on standby, monitoring vital signs continuously, because hypothermia is a very real and very dangerous risk in a situation like this. The relief and exhaustion upon exiting the ice chamber were immense, followed by a slow, painful thawing process. Definitely one of our most chilling challenges, literally. And there you have it, folks. 10 of the most extreme, mind-blowing, and sometimes terrifying challenges we've ever pulled off. From being buried alive to surviving in a box for 100 days, these weren't just stunts. They were tests of human spirit, endurance, and sometimes just sheer luck. MrBeast doesn't just make viral videos, he makes history. Which challenge shocked you most? Which one do you think officially went too far? Let us know in the comments below. I read them all. These videos take an incredible amount of planning, resources, and an amazing team to bring to life. And we do it all for you guys, our incredible audience. Your support is what allows us to keep pushing the boundaries and attempting these insane feats. We're always brainstorming the next big thing, the next challenge that will blow your minds and hopefully make someone's life a whole lot better with a massive cash prize. What crazy challenge should we try next? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because you do not want to miss what's coming. Subscribe now. Wild edits and fan reactions, dropping shorts videos every day and long videos twice in a week. We've got even crazier ideas in the pipeline, bigger prizes and more unbelievable challenges. Thanks for watching, you legends, and we'll see you in the next video. Beast out.